What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sean from 4GLU, 4 Geeks Like You, and today we're going to talk about the new trailer that was released by Ubisoft for Assassin's Creed Rogue. Now, some of you may already know that there were supposed to be two Assassin's Creed games that were released this year. One was Assassin's Creed Unity, which we've been getting a lot of promo vids for and a lot of screens from, and the other was supposed to be Assassin's Creed Comet. Now, Assassin's Creed Rogue is Assassin's Creed Comet. Comet was just like the code name to throw us off, because if they had told us Rogue before, we would have pretty much figured out that either somebody's going Rogue from the Templars or somebody's going Rogue from the Assassin's Order. But nevertheless, what do we get from this trailer? Well, we're introduced to a new character, and his name is Shay Cormac. And Shay was with the Assassin's Order, but something went terribly wrong during one of his missions, and it basically shifted him over to the Templar side, where now he's a hunter. So he's basically being hunted by assassins. So you can't just say, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to play as a Templar. Well, we're not really getting a strict Templar character here. We're basically getting somebody who it looks like was betrayed by the Order and had to shift sides. Now, if you've been a fan of this long-running series, then this kind of looks like what we got in Assassin's Creed, the original one. For whereas Altair was, he won a mission, he did something terribly wrong out of his ignorance, but he didn't jump to the Templar Order. He was basically suspended. He had to basically climb back up the ladder to which he originally was as an assassin. But here, it just looks like Shay is like, fuck it, like, I have nothing to go back to. Basically, the Order turned their back on me. So, he's a hunter now. And it doesn't look like we're getting, this character that's looking for redemption. It basically looks like he's hunting the assassins, and throughout the majority of the game, from what we can tell so far, it looks like we're basically getting this guy who's going to be killing assassins without any remorse whatsoever. So where does this put us? Basically, I'm with it. I'm looking for a change, and I was always looking to play as a Templar anyway, especially since in Assassin's Creed 3, when we got to play as Haytham, I was like, oh shit, like we could play as a Templar, it'd be cool. So we're getting it this time around. We weren't told much about what we can do. What we were told is that we'll be using weapons that have never before been seen. We're going to get a ship now. I mean, we had a ship with Edward before and Connor, but this time we're getting a ship, and it's called the Morgan. Don't know much about it, but we do know pretty much that we're going to have naval gameplay, so we're still going to be at sea shooting up things. We don't know where this is going to be taking place in time. I'm hoping that they keep it within this, aligned with, at least with Haytham's story, somewhat in that same period. So we could probably bump heads with Edward, and, even though I really didn't care much for Edward, I would like to see, like, what he's doing, even though he turned his back on the pirate life. It would be cool to see like characters that we've come across before. Now, again, this is kind of like being sprung upon us, because I would have expected them to speak on this a little sooner. So I'm guessing that we're going to be getting a lot more information throughout the upcoming weeks, especially since this comes out November 11th of this year, exclusively for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Now, you can't even whine about that, because I know people are like, well, why not the PlayStation 4? Why not the Xbox One? Well, we're getting Unity exclusively for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC, so you can't really complain, man. You can't have your cake and eat it too, and I wouldn't mind blowing the dust off my Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 just to pop back in to a new Assassin's Creed story. So that's pretty much what we got from the trailer. I mean, at the end of the trailer, he shot the assassin who was bleeding, and he's basically telling you that he's been tracking down this assassin. So it's not like, hey, we crossed paths by accident, gotta kill you. Nah, he's been hunting this guy, which is something that I think is pretty cool. Like I said earlier, we're going to be tracking down assassins and killing them. It's definitely a big change, being that you're coming from this kind of like bounty hunter guy now. Like, we don't know if he's devoted to the Templar Order or he's just a rogue from both orders, and maybe along the way he's going to have Templar and assassins come after him, which would be something that I would love to actually play, because then you have no friends, no allies whatsoever, and you're on your own, and you have to watch every corner, because if you have to end up taking out assassins and Templars, then it's number one, it opens up the world for you. You know, more targets, more new characters you'll get to interact with, and it'll make this character, at least in my perspective, a badass character, being that he has nowhere to run. So guys, what did you think about the new trailer? Next month, Game Informer is going to be talking more on it in their September issue, so I'm actually looking forward to that, to see if they actually open up a little bit more on what this game is really going to be about, and dive more into Shay's character. So again, guys, this is Sean from 4GLU, 4 Geeks Like You. Stay tuned for more game reviews, game talks, and updates, and we'll see you guys later. Hit that subscribe button and check us out at www.4geekslikeyou.com. Later.